In the beautiful countryside of Sri Lanka, the average farmer toils away, getting ready to plant and tediously care for next year's rice harvest. The occasional greedy elephant usually complicates things, but now the farmer must contend with something much worse. What was to take a decade? In a strained effort to make Sri Lanka the first entirely organic food supplier, caught farmer by surprise. When, in early 2021, the government announced the country would immediately stop the importation of critically needed fertilizer. When supply shortages caused by the lockdown in 2020, food prices were already on the rise. Now, with the geopolitical shocks in Europe's breadbasket and the unsurprising halving in Sri Lanka agriculture output, the price of food for the average citizen has skyrocketed, but the government's gross mismanagement in agriculture is just a small symptom in a much larger problem. Sri Lanka has run out of money and is now facing down the barrel of complete economic collapse. In a span of 2 years, its reserves of foreign currency has gone from 9.2 billion to just 50 million. Not enough to cover a single day's worth of imports, and not nearly enough to cover the 6.6 billion it needs to make loan payments. In April drought, the government announced it will no longer be making such payments. As a result, it's been cut off from international loans. Basic necessities are hard to come by, and daily rolling blackouts are shutting down businesses. The streets are descending into chaos and violence, not seen since its terrible 30-year civil war. Yet Sri Lanka may not be alone and could be the first domino to fall in a global economic crisis for poorly managed developing countries. But how did Sri Lanka get into this mess in the first place? What is likely to happen next, and what does this mean for the rest of the world? Today, on paper, Sri Lanka is not a poor country. According to the UN, its development rivals Eastern European nations. It has more production per person than Indonesia, Egypt, and South Africa. And it sits on an incredibly important global shipping lane. It's the world's fourth largest producer of plastic and a major exporter of natural rubber, spices, and precious metals. For the past 2 decades, it's been one of the fastest growing South Asian countries. It is blessed with natural beauty, stunning beaches, and world-famous wildlife. As a result, Sri Lanka experienced a massive boom in tourism, which led to its breakneck growth. From the end of its civil war in 2009 to 2018, the number of visitors each year increased fivefold, bringing in huge sums of foreign currency. Sri Lanka, being a small, developing country, imports a huge amount of commodities. As such, it's been running a large trade deficit. This means that it buys more foreign goods than it sells to foreign nations, but many nations run large deficits. The United States, for example, runs a trade deficit of 600 billion US dollars worth of goods. But Sri Lanka does not bring US dollar, it brings Sri Lanka rupees. When it buys oil from the UAE or sells it to China, it does not trade rupees, it trades US dollars.